Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 630. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Yo, yo.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. We are live streaming on Twitch starting Tuesday night, starting at 8 o'clock. Please join us. If you missed us on the live streams, we are on YouTube the following day, so head on over there and smash that subscribe button. Leave us a comment, likes. This is the Moviecast, folks. Tonight we will have our Gamecast, our Game of the Year podcast is coming up. Stay tuned for that. But for now, let's talk some new movie news, guys. Box office stuff. Avatar is still going very strong. 1.9 billion, I think it's up to now.
Yeah, it's definitely crossing 2.
Yeah, he did it. He did it. I can't believe it. It's crazy,
dude. It is so crazy to me because, like, I personally don't know anybody that has seen
what I was gonna say. Who knows anybody that's seen this movie?
My coworker saw it.
Okay, because I don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody. I'm just like, who are these people? Yeah, I mean, good for it. Good for it. I personally don't care for the series, but hey, people are happy.
No, I had no faith. No faith.
Yep.
I just can't believe. Like, okay, I thought maybe it could be a success, but this was unheard of in my opinion. Like, I just can't fathom why this movie's been out for so long, this series, and it finally has a sequel and it does this. I mean, it's crazy. Puss in Boots crossed 250 million, which means it will turn a profit. It had a high budget, that movie, but the movie studio's supposedly very happy with that. On its way to probably 300 million before it's done. Not to mention that's a movie that's about merchandising. So that's more important to it than the movie ticket sales. But so good for that. And that's pretty much the stories for the box office. This week, today, actually, Quantumania went on sale, tickets.
Nice.
You guys picked yours up? I got mine. Yeah, I'm going Saturday night that week.
I don't know when I can go, so I did not buy any tickets.
That was my hold up. So what I did was bought the tickets, and I'm like, if I can't go, I'll just return them.
That's fair. No, that's a good point. I was thinking, but then I was like, it's so expensive.
Oh yeah, it's $42 for 2 tickets. $42.
Dude, that's exactly what I've been saying all these times. Like they wonder why the box office is down, and it just $40 for like 2.5 hours of entertainment. 3 if you want to include previews.
Plus, if you get anything there, it's $20. $20 for food or drink. Yeah.
I looked at it. I was like, oof, $22 or something like that. It was.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Movie prices, everything's just insanely priced. Eggs in the store right now. I've had.
Well, that's yeah.
I'm just saying, like, everything's insanely priced.
But inflation.
But that's the new enemy. It's been an interesting week. So I'm looking forward to seeing that movie, which is February 17th, 1 month from now.
Yeah.
But it has been an interesting week in terms of. I'm trying to think of like more stuff that I've watched, and I have. Finished up a series on Netflix. I watched Wednesday, all of it, and
nice.
Great show. I'm actually happy we're having this because I'm like, we're going up to the TV shows of the year next week, and I really wanted to finish that series because I feel like that could slot someplace in there. That's how good it was. It's in consideration for things, and it was a great show. Like they really did a good job of balancing the quirky Addams Family aspect with having some like over the top like gore. Like you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? You're like, ooh. But still keep it as a charming kind of Addams Family show. I don't know how they did it. They walked a tight rope line and they did a good job. Uncle Fester is great. It's weird not seeing Christopher Lloyd in that role, but I think I said that too about Raul Julia.
Not seeing everyone. I was gonna say all the people we know and grew up with.
Yeah, right. It was really weird, but they did channel those characters to a certain point, and Tim Burton directed this, so he was, Tim Burton was all
fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, all over it. You can tell, and it's getting a second season, which is awesome. That's news.
It was good to know. Yeah, like you said.
With Netflix, you never know, but this series was already drawing the interest from, like, I believe Amazon. They were going to say
Amazon has the rights to season 2, I think, or something like that. But
well, they said that Netflix delayed announcing the renewal for another week, then Amazon was going to just do it themselves. Apparently, there's some weird rights thing. They do have both. It's a dual rights thing, or maybe distribution rights. I don't even know.
I don't
know. It was a foregone conclusion that we were getting a second season. They just didn't know which network that was going to be on. So we'll be on Netflix. But yeah, it was good. Other than that, I for some reason Amazon suggested to me the Real Ghostbusters, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen that cartoon in forever. So I watched that. Fun cartoon from when I was a kid. It's great. It's a great show. And I think of note, I believe that's about it. Football stuff going on. Enjoyed some games, some crazy games, but that's about it really. So Mike, what have you been watching?
So I've been trying to get something on the board for TV shows next week.
Good.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead.
So I watched, unfortunately, I might have to include the first half of a series, which is Titans. The first half is out, the second half is not. The first half happened last year. I don't know exactly when the second half. They have 6 episodes in. They're having this weird January break at least, so I don't know, but I've watched those 6 episodes and they were good. Obviously it's been 2 weeks since we talked about what we've been watching, so it was kind of easy to get 6 in. I do like what I've seen so far. They've kind of tied in stuff from the first season. This is the 4th season, and I like when these serialized shows actually reference stuff from previous seasons, other than just having every single season so self-contained where it gets very mechanical and kind of unrealistic. But so I'm glad they're doing that, and it's funny I'm here at this point because there was a time when in my comic books, my comic book stories, I hated when more realistic characters interacted with the supernatural. But now I'm dealing with multiple properties that do that, and I'm kind of all right. Because the first season was all about Raven. Raven was sort of like the 11 of that series, that first season, and we jump back to a lot of stuff that happened with her and Trigon and all that stuff here, and I kind of find it a little bit of a refreshing change from what we had in season 2 and 3, which was Deathstroke and Scarecrow, villains of the season type stuff. So it's pretty good. And then I also finished another short series, and that was Sonic Prime.
Cool.
Yeah, I watched all of that. It's good. It's definitely for kids. Other than him saying you can screw my ham or something later. There was because they said they were talking about putting the screws to him, or it wasn't ham. I don't know what it was. It was some meat type thing, like slapping something out of him later. And so he said, "We'll do this fight, and later on you can screw my ham if this doesn't work," or not quite that. But I'm oh, that was an adult joke in there.
Yeah.
But no, I like it because the theme is sort of that Sonic's an asshole, which is kind of what I want him to be. The old 90s character where he's good at everything, so he's an asshole, and then his weakness is that he's an asshole, and all his friends are pissed off at him for being an asshole. That's basically the premise of the show, and it's does some multiverse stuff, and as everything must do now. But it's pretty good. I liked it, but it ends sort of very unsatisfyingly on a cliffhanger. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, it was worth watching, especially if you're a Sonic fan. And I think it would be good for kids. It's like a Y7 type show. It's good for kids.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it got pretty good reviews. So, Corey, check the chat, the main chat. Tony, what have you been watching? I mean, the AYCG chat. Sorry.
So let's see, what have I been watching? Just for TV consideration, because you spoke so highly of it, and apparently the internet agrees, was Andor. Because my better judgment. But I will say it is enjoyable so far. I'm only 4 episodes deep. I think I can finish it by next week. but yeah, you can clearly tell, like coming off of Obi-Wan, you can clearly tell like there's just a different level of like budget and attention and detail and everything. I'm like, wow, why did Obi-Wan not have this? Because I watch Obi-Wan, I'm just like, dude, this is bad. Like it looks like Power Rangers level. Like
they sank the money it's clearly into Andor and cinematography, and like it's Obi-Wan. You didn't think you should have a little higher budget for that one?
Right,
Sorry,
exactly.
Yeah. I don't really think Obi-Wan looked that cheap. I just think the story was stupid.
It was if you're watching like Mike, have you seen Andor?
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, don't make then you don't know what he's talking about. Like, he's saying that looks better than Obi-Wan.
And what big set pieces does this have?
It's not. I don't think it's about the big set pieces. It's about a believable world, though.
That's why.
There's no big set pieces in Obi-Wan.
You have
like. How are you arguing? You haven't seen one series. Like we could say some things you would never know. You would never know.
It's just empty space in Obi-Wan.
I'm asking. What would be asking is what they tried to do in Obi-Wan.
Locations, costuming, the set pieces in terms of like
weather,
lots of vehicles, weather effects.
Everything about it just screams higher production value. It's like watching like a daytime soap opera and then watching like a big blockbuster movie. Like you just don't have the same production value from the shows. It's just so weird because Obi-Wan seemed like a show you'd throw all of the money at.
And that's also what I mean though. But because you have like, what was that? Where does Leia live? Alderaan or whatever. Mm-hmm. You have that set. You had that like city set that was pretty big.
So dead though. Like that's the thing. They just felt empty.
So I just don't. I think it's really more of a direction and plot type thing.
But Mike,
sure,
this
has whatever you want to say.
This has Coruscant in it.
This movie,
anyway, go on.
Way better. This looks way better. It's night and day. It baffles me that you could just compare them. It looks silly. It does. It looks as silly. As far as the characters, like obviously with Cassian, I mean he's a good character. He is. It's just hard for me to really care because
he wasn't obviously. And I understand your statement because I did the same thing. When I thought back to it, I'm like, I don't know if I actually really cared about the main character so much, but I enjoyed the show for like side characters more than anything. Yeah.
And I think I put it in the chat, but like it is one of those things where like if this had come out before Rogue One, I'd probably be way more invested in it and be like, okay, like we're getting a new character. There's no Jedi involved. I mean, I'm only on episode 4. I hope they don't pop out of nowhere for some reason in the remaining 8 episodes. But it's just a good story. I'm hoping it's coming to a peak soon with the set piece or the story and implication for the first 4 episodes that they've been building up to. It's like clearly this thing, is moving somewhere. It's good. Gonna finish it out hopefully by next week. But it is just a little slow. Where I'm just like third of the way in, and there's like nothing that's like synced its claws into me yet. And I'm hoping the next one or wherever the heist happens, I'm hoping that does it.
The heist was great, and after that, they changed gears. The show, like to a point,
flashbacks are weird. The flashbacks,
you don't get much more of them later on. You get you're gonna get them, but they weren't. They weren't as noticeable for me later on in the show. Because I was trying to think like
that just makes it sound even worse. It's like
like I don't know why they're there because
they don't even matter. So why are we wasting time here?
That's the thing. I'm wondering if it was cut content or something because like right now I'm just like.
But I'm just hearing Jim say it's like, they'll forget about them later on. It's like
they had a point. Okay. They were trying to they try to build a story for like a relationship between two characters, but you kind of get it anyways. I feel like you didn't need it. That's my point.
Because I watched this a little bit too. I don't know if Mike you saw it or anything. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I think I set my expectations too high because of everything I heard. And I just can't care about any of these new characters that we're getting introduced to. And Cassian, like for someone who's supposed to like be a little smarter, like a little bit like street smarts or something, he's like so stupid. Like his whole thing is do not let his family's like do not let people know you're from this planet. And then he just goes and tells everybody he's from this planet. Everybody knows. Yeah. It's like what? It's like your one secret you need to keep, and yet every single person knows. Random barkeepers are finding this out.
It's like Batman going, "You want to know my secret identity?" It's like, no.
So I was like, I don't know if I can get on board here. And the thing is, it's funny because I'm gonna talk about another show where you know what happens in the story, and you know the character's ultimate fates and things like that for the most part.
Did you watch House of? No, I know what you're talking about now. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna.
But like it just it's just it's different. So here it just didn't make me care as much. So
let's Corey, let's continue on with your Last of Us show, which I watched too. So I was waiting for you to get for that.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Because this is for me. I was blown away. I thought this was an amazing pilot episode for a show. Any show. It doesn't, regardless of if it was an adaptation or if it was original. We talk about production value. Like this, you could tell they threw $100 million at this show. Like,
absolutely. This was a movie budget.
It looks really nice. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah.
You can tell they got top talent for filming, music. Just like sound and design, the lighting, everything about it is just screams production value. Where like you watch, The Wheel of Time, and you're like, oh my god, what are they doing here? It's like so difficult sometimes to adapt things to bring them to life. But with video games, obviously, you already have that foundation. You have the story that you can go through, and we all know Last of Us has been praised for its story over and over again. And here they adapt it, in my opinion, like extremely well, because not only are they staying faithful to the things that matter, but they're expanding on the things that we didn't really get to see and learning more, because they spend a lot more time with Joel, Ellie, and even Tommy before the outbreak, because in the game you start at the outbreak. Essentially, you wake up as Sarah and the outbreak is happening almost immediately there. And here we get a whole day with these characters.
They gave Sarah a lot more time, and Tommy, Uncle Tommy, definitely was the Tommy, brother Tommy, whoever his brother, definitely has much more of a presence in the show. I thought it looks great.
It's pretty much, it's very similar. Just you get to spend more time with all of the characters.
Absolutely. So. No, they have done a great job painstakingly recreating the first game so far. Really well done. Even to the memorable sequences. Like if you've played the game, there's some memorable shock moments in that they've really managed to translate it onto the screen. My only gripe is that I've experienced it. I think this is my fourth time at this point experiencing it, so it's not as impactful to me, but it is. I fully recognize how good this show is. Like it is. I'm going to continue watching it. I'm not bashing this show whatsoever, but it's just not as holy shit moments for me, because you know the story. This is not. It's not the red wedding all over again. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I know these stories. It's
sure. But like, I think that with going from book to screen, obviously is a little different, because now you're getting to see the characters in action. Going from video game to screen is not as impactful, but I'm just really like hopeful now, because like we're getting, like you mentioned in your predictions, Tony, like we're getting video game adaptations that are really good, and original stories, and here we're getting mostly a faithful adaptation. And like it's strange how like you can go from trying to be too like faithful and like, let's say The Lion King, and taking a animated show to like a live action, air quotes here, because it was so, and just being like so faithful to the point like, why does this even exist, and this is just stupid and like dead, and like there's no life in it. And here is the opposite. It's like they're taking something that was you were being a part of an experience, and you were that character essentially. There's a part of you as Joel essentially. Here now you're getting to kind of take a step back and see it almost from a higher 100-foot view or something. And it's just a really cool like way to experience this, that I think is a good companion to what you've experienced before, because of the things they are changing. Because the opening sequence in this is not in the game, which it takes place in the 60s, and they talk about
that was so weird.
It's like
so awkward.
If you know the game, you know what you're kind of getting into, but here they have to assume people have no idea what this is. So this is like a talk show with two like scientists, and they talk about viruses and then fungal infections and what that could mean in the future.
they got that actor from
Jonathan
the Mummy.
Something.
Yeah, he was so
was
good.
also an Agents
He's
of
so
Shield
good.
too.
Yeah, he's so good. That guy.
And the guy from Silicon Valley. But yeah, so they do that to get you prepped for, oh, well, this is what this outbreak is and how it works, and just all the little details and everything about this was just, again, I was extremely impressed. And then the acting on top of it, because that's what really can kill one of these like adaptions. If you don't get people that can make you believe in the characters because you've experienced these characters before, if you can't get people that make you believe in them and like, this is not my Luke Skywalker or whatever bullshit you want to say, it's not going to work. And here, everybody just pulls off everything so seamlessly, so well. And like I said, the little details that they change for the show, it makes a lot of sense and it's really well done. Like, they cut a whole bunch of stuff from the game that is just like tutorial stuff. That whole section's like 5 minutes in the episode because it's not critical to the plot.
But they still had like the key things in there, which was pretty cool. Like they're giving the people the tutorial, but like in a bridge. It was really cool how they went through the sequences. The no spore thing. I don't know. I don't know. I like the spores. To see that, but they're not.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. They did say in the show that it's not going to be an airborne virus, and so they kind of.
It is a weird change. I saw like a forum post about it.
Yeah,
like I'm like, oh, when are they putting on gas masks? And I'm like, oh wait, they're not doing that in this. So that was weird. So I feel like that
they were saying that it just in this type of thing would be a little unbelievable that the airborne virus wouldn't just get everywhere. Is what they were saying. Is just like, if you have an airborne virus, how does it just not go over these walls? Like people would just be like, this is too unbelievable. Like everybody would be getting it because it's like whatever. So that's what they're
whatever. It's fine.
Excuse or whatever they want to call it.
You just got to buy into it, and that's fine.
Yeah. But as far as like, this show is gonna bring so many people. I know this show is going to bring so many people to the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's where, and
I mean that's its goal, right?
Yeah, and you're getting the PC release in March, right? So
that's
like,
weird. That's such a weird coincidence.
It's what I've been saying. It's like
they planned.
You gotta expand your brand and IPs, and it's gonna blow up.
I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And right now I'm leaning on the side of like, maybe I'll wait until it's finished to watch it because like right now I just have other things to watch. And a weekly series, like it's not like that big of a deal. Again, like it's not like, man, I wonder where this is going. Like it's like,
well, exactly, like, and that's what I love too. It's like I really you want to do spoilers show for, but like most people that our audience would know the spoilers already. Yeah, it's like, oh, it doesn't necessarily matter. But the way that they use that, like, cause just like in Resident Evil 2, like the way they use the remake of that game to circumvent expectations, like the car crash scene in this, they fake you out because it's the same exact sequence that happens, but then it doesn't happen. And you're like, oh shoot, it didn't happen here. Like what's going on? And then they change it. And those little things were really well done.
But then they do something over there. Like
they even have that, like it feels like that sequence and then they throw a curveball. Yeah. So.
And it's really funny too, is like every sequence that was like pulled directly from the game is in reverse. So like it's all mirrored. So like the characters on the couch, like Sarah and Joel, when on the couch, they're sitting on the opposite sides. And like there's like a bunch of those sequences that I remember thinking, the house that's burning, that's on fire, is on the left when they're in the show, but it's on the right in the game. It's just little things like that are pretty fun. So
yeah, I mean the thing that you have to like, I would like to point out. Well, first of all, it's done amazing numbers. 4.7 million viewers. I think it's the second highest show.
It's 13 years for them.
Yeah, but they've done a great job of trying to like you said, I guess bridge that universe for the game / the show, and they've done a great job of giving that like those small things, I guess, which is good. But like I said, ultimately, like I know like the ultimate shock wow factor moment, especially in the first episode. You're like, okay, yeah, I've experienced this myself a few times, so for me it wasn't as impactful, but only because not that it was bad, it just wasn't like, oh God, what are you gonna do? But
and I think like it's everybody's gonna have different reactions to it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was
for
like,
you.
Well,
it was like, I've seen it, I've been there, done that.
The people don't know the story. I'm sure they were like,
for me though, like I was like so impressed with how they executed everything. Like I was blown away. I thought that some of the things they did way better here than they did in the game. Like just explaining things, just getting you into the world and getting you, immersed in what's happening. I think because in a game, a lot of things you miss story wise because it's part of some collectible you pick up or something that you don't read because you just want to get to the action or whatever, and you miss it. Here they kind of linger on things or make sure you are catching stuff, and so different medium, but I do appreciate the effort and hard work and everything they put in here because you don't see that in everything. Like we said, adaptations and things like that, like Wheel of Time. My God, what the hell were they doing there? And then you see something like this, like, oh, finally, like you're adapting something the correct way. And Mike, you didn't watch this?
No, I don't need to watch any more Last of Us things or the zombie stuff.
Pedro Pascal, amazing job.
Like I said, even like Bella Ramsey was so good as Ellie.
Yeah, she's been getting drinking a lot, so that's good.
Yeah, she's doing really good. She did a good job.
So highly recommend.
Definitely recommend that.
And if you have played the game, then I think it's worth watching at some point.
Yeah, I think
I will be curious to hear how much it deviates, because if it can be surprising, like for real,
it's not.
Then maybe I'd be more interested.
It's not deviating in a way that's going to surprise you. It's deviating in a way that makes sense for the story and the plot that they're going for.
Yeah, so that
because it's in the game they're trying to get guns, and in the movie they're trying to get a battery so they can leave instead. Yeah. So it's just like little things like that, and the reason they leave and go out is different than the reason it is in the game because it makes more sense for the characters and where they are. And what it's like I just love how like in the Last of Us world, you're just like not good people, and they show that in this. Like anybody that survived 20 years, and that's the other thing. Like in this like universe, like Walking Dead happens like a week after, a month after, and you have no idea what's going on. The Last of Us, you know what happened, and it's been 20 years since it happened, and there's no cure, and that's part of the point of this. Is like there is no hope for humanity until like this kid comes along. And the people that survive are just bad people. There's like not any good people really, and so you see that.
That's the aspect of the game was between the monsters or the monsters.
The monster was us all along. Is kind of why I'm sort of over the genre completely.
That's zombies. That's the best part of the zombie show. Yeah,
I'm over it.
yeah. It's a great series so far. Good one episode. We'll see how they go continuing on. But
I'd say one of the best pilots of any show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. And really, in the news, the only thing I really want to mention before we move on to the Gamecast is that Mandalorian had a trailer premiere last night. It's actually March 1st, Disney Plus. I wasn't even aware of that myself. It was coming out that soon, March 1st, and the trailer was on the football game last night, which I was surprised about. And then I guess I was just missing the news announcements, but it was great. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work with them, assuming people watch Boba Fett, because there's going to have to be a quick
recap. They'll recap it at the very beginning. I guess. They have to. Otherwise,
usually. Or you could just watch those 2 Mandalorian episodes.
Well, they're not going to tell you that, though. They're not going to say, "Hey, don't watch Boba Fett. Just watch these 2 episodes." They're not going to.
Before you watch this, make sure you watch Boba Fett.
Yeah, they're going to just give you the recap. So, all right, and that's pretty much it for the news for this week. So we are good. We're going to be going on to our Gamecast. It's the of the year edition, folks. If you're listening to this, so please stay tuned for that. Once again, we're live streaming on Twitch Tuesday nights, YouTube the following day. So follow us on both channels so you get all the latest and greatest. We appreciate it, guys. We will see you soon. We are out. Oops, hang on.